Hi, you're listening to Childless and Moving Onward. This is the place where we talk about thriving in life when you're a woman who is childless, not by choice, regardless of the road that brought you to childlessness. Hi, and welcome to episode 33 of Childless and Moving Onward podcast. I'm Gail Miller, and I'm thrilled to have you here. My mission is to recognize and speak to women who are childless not by choice, not because you want to be, but childless by circumstance. I'm here to remind you that you can live joyful, relevant, fulfilled lives, recognizing that while you would love to have the need for Legos all over the house, there's also a little bit of benefit to not ever having to worry about stepping on those pieces barefoot. So yeah, I add a little bit of humor into this to kind of take away some of the heaviness of this subject. And humor is good for us. Today's episode is titled Grappling to Find Gratitude When the Nest Will Never Be Filled. I'm diving into the complex emotions that come with being childless not by choice and how you cultivate gratitude despite this challenging circumstance, despite the pain. Now, this is not about toxic positivity. Anybody who knows me knows I am totally anti-toxic positivity. I'm against just look at the positive, just think positively. That's not what this is about. So if your first instinct is to think, I don't want to listen to someone just tell me just be positive, know that that isn't what this is about at all. So just give it a chance. So now grab your favorite beverage, adult or otherwise, and let's get going. For many of us who are childless by circumstance and not by choice, the concept of an empty nest takes on a whole different meaning from what people usually think it is. Because our nests were unfortunately never filled to begin with. And that can feel like being left out of a club where everyone else is sharing these cute baby pictures and celebrating all these milestones. And while we're over here thinking through of, when did I last clean out the fridge? Or while they're doing all that, we're trying to figure out some exit strategy from this gathering, a way to run out as fast as possible, but without our exit being noticed. Here's the tough part. Okay, well, everything about this is tough, but this is extra specially tough when it comes to the pain. Because we want it gone. The reality is, though, that rarely happens. But it doesn't have to rule your life 24/7. To get to that point, it's crucial to recognize, to validate, and face the pain that comes with involuntary childlessness. This grief can be especially challenging because it's not a pain that gets validated by others most of the time. In fact, it's a pain that goes unrecognized by society at large. And then when somebody does acknowledge the pain, it's because they're pitying us. I'm honestly not sure which is worse, the lack of validation or the pity. I certainly am not looking for pity. That's not supportive. Now, let's talk about the core of our topic today, and that is finding gratitude in this painful, difficult situation. It's not an easy journey, and it's certainly not linear. There will be ups and downs. It's kind of like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. And sometimes it's even with the instructions. But cultivating gratitude can be a powerful tool in healing and finding joy in our lives. Now, let me back up just a second. Healing doesn't mean the pain will go away. completely. Healing is like any other painful situation, healing from this pain of childlessness. Like you cut yourself, you're left with a scar. That doesn't go away. The same thing happens with this healing. The pain doesn't go away, but you can learn to navigate it and move with it and find joy again. But before diving into how to find gratitude, let's define what I mean by gratitude, at least in this context. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything's perfect or denying your pain. Again, does not just look at the positive. Instead, it is about recognizing the good things in our lives, no matter how small they may seem. Like finally getting that last cookie from the jar before anybody else does, right? It's probably not a major experience in life, but it can feel really good. So finding the good things in our life doesn't have to be large events, milestones. I'm talking about the everyday little things. Now, admittedly, when the focus has been on our pain and only or mostly on our pain, it can be really difficult to find even tiny positive things. Sometimes instead of starting with recognizing the good things, you have to start with recognizing the things that make your day not absolutely suck, right? Before you can reach a point where you can see the positive. So, for example, maybe you can't quite get to feeling great, feeling good about being able to make a latte at home. You got a new latte machine, especially when you'd rather be having it served daily by a barista. Maybe you're just not there yet where you can see, yeah, this is a good thing. I get to savor this latte every morning. You may not be able to see that positive, but how about instead acknowledge, hey, I have some coffee first thing in the morning, so I don't have a totally sucky day by starting it out without a jolt of caffeine, right? If you're not there yet where you can see the positive, work on finding the situations where you have something that turns your day around so it's not totally sucking. Why gratitude? What does it do? What can gratitude do for you? Why do all this work to try to cultivate gratitude? Lots of benefits from it. Gratitude can improve emotional well-being. And let's face it, we could all use a little boost these days. It can enhance our relationships. I mean, who doesn't want to have friends who don't judge them for eating ice cream straight from the tub, right? But gratitude can enhance that, can help build upon relationships and make them stronger and better and more supportive. It increases resilience in the face of challenges. Now, it's not a resilience any of us wanted to have, but here we are. So let's deal with what we have and make the best of it that we're able to. Use gratitude to help us face the pain and beat it down so it's not overtaking our lives. With gratitude, that's a reminder of just how far we've come. And when you have that reminder, it can turn into hope for the future, even in the face of this pain. Gratitude reminds us of our agency. It reinforces the knowledge that we have the power to act and can create change in our lives. Now, it doesn't create the thing we wanted, which is to become moms, to have children. But learning to cultivate gratitude can help you to recognize the power that you do have in your life, the impact that you can make. So it can help us move from a scarcity mindset of focusing only on what we're missing in life, so that we can then learn to be more resourceful and creative, which in turn helps navigate those triggers, helps us with the response to the triggers. Resilience is a part of navigating emotional setbacks that come with triggers by adopting coping mechanisms. And those coping mechanisms help build inner strength that combats stress. With gratitude comes improvement in emotional regulation, so that people who practice gratitude are better able to deal with negative experiences, better able to deal with the triggers. And it enhances problem-solving abilities. And so why is that needed? Well, what do you do when triggers hit? How do you face situations that will be especially painful? For instance, the upcoming holiday season. The ability to problem solve that comes with gratitude helps you to figure out what works best for you so that you can cope with triggers and how you get through them. In essence, practicing gratitude rewires our brains to deal with the present circumstances in a way that benefits your well-being and the ability to bounce back from challenges. Now that we've discussed the importance of gratitude, let's get practical. What are some practical steps you can take to cultivate this gratitude in your daily life? Now, it may seem counterintuitive, but finding gratitude really can be a powerful tool in navigating the emotions of being childless, not by choice. So here's a few ways to cultivate gratitude. The first is redefine family. Expand your definition of family. You do not have to take on society's view of what family is. You are your own person. So expand what you see as family to include those people in relationships you have who you cherish, especially the ones who don't judge you. I realize this is not the family you wanted. It's not about being a replacement, but instead it's a way to retrain your brain and ultimately be able to find and feel some good in your life. So stop letting society impose a definition of family on you. And you learn to open up your eyes and see other ways, other people that create family. The second thing is it's the same is true about recognizing the flexibility and opportunities that come with not having children. Now, again, I know you would give up the flexibility and those opportunities in a heartbeat. The opportunities to pursue personal passions, you would give them up without a second thought if it meant being able to have a child. But that's not our reality. So making the best of the hand we've been dealt is what this is about. To be able to cultivate joy, even if it's not the joy you had wanted. No, there's no perfect substitute. That's not what this is about. But this is about finding and being able to experience joy instead of just the pain. So what steps can you take? Okay. So here's some practical steps. This last part is all about being practical. The first is gratitude journaling. I know that sounds trite and people talk about journaling all the time and it sounds like people just kind of don't even think twice about it. But journaling can be powerful in healing. So set aside time each day to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Even if one of them is just that you didn't trip over your own feet for the day. Or if one of them is, I was able to get myself out of bed. But set aside time each day to write down 3 things that you're grateful for, big or small. The second are gratitude walks. Take a walk and consciously notice things that you're grateful for in your environment, whether it's the sun peeking through the clouds or being grateful that no one is around you to ask you those painful, nosy questions, or you see a beautiful leaf on the ground. Consciously notice things that are a positive, that are not a negative, right? Pay attention to those things. The third is express appreciation. Make it a habit to express gratitude to others, big or small. Make it a habit that each day you express gratitude at least once. Hey, if you do go to the coffee shop every day, you don't have your own latte machine. How about thanking your barista for making your coffee the way you like it? Or just thank them. Thank a work colleague for opening the blinds in the office or for staying late to take care of something. But find a way to express gratitude to others each day. The fourth is to reframe negative thoughts about yourself. Because when you are telling yourself negative things about yourself, you start to believe it. So when you catch yourself saying something negative to yourself or thinking it, stop. The minute you realize you're doing it, just stop. Stop at mid-thought. If you're saying it out loud to yourself, stop at mid-sentence. If you can try then to reframe it into a more positive one about yourself, that is ideal. But you may not be there yet. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. But at least then don't complete the negative statement that you started about yourself. The fifth is create gratitude rituals. Establish rituals that remind you to be grateful, like saying what you're thankful for before meals, even if it's just to you or to your pet. Hey, I'm grateful when I can have dessert. But establish a ritual where at least once a day, you are saying out loud something that you are grateful for. Now, I want to pause here and acknowledge something vital. And that is that finding gratitude isn't always easy. In fact, it can be incredibly hard. There will be days when the pain of childlessness feels overwhelming. And those days might coincide with when someone posts yet another picture of their adorable baby dressed as a pumpkin. Or it's just a hard day because no specific trigger, no cute baby photos needed to feel that deep yearning and that sense of that hole in your heart. So here are 3 common challenges that you may face as you are trying to incorporate this gratitude practice into your life I want you to be aware of them so you know when it happens. This is common, but you have to work to get past it. And the first is the comparison trap. It's so easy to fall into comparing our lives to anybody else, and especially those with children, especially when they post those perfectly curated family photos while you're over here trying not to eat an entire pizza or a bag of peanut M&Ms by yourselves. For me, it's both the pizza and M&Ms. The second is that society absolutely emphasizes parenthood. And then that can really make gratitude feel difficult, especially during this holiday season when everyone is obsessed with sharing their mommy moments. Finding gratitude can feel like the overwhelm of climbing a mountain that has no peak in sight. You just keep struggling for air. Your muscles are in pain. They're fatigued. You become exhausted and you don't see an end in sight. And that's how it can feel with the constant messages from society about motherhood. Like you're climbing that peak and there's no end in sight to these messages, these comments. And then be prepared for grief waves. Grief isn't linear. So you might experience unexpected waves of sadness. Finding gratitude then can feel like nothing short of a miracle. It can feel hopeless with no will to even try to find that gratitude. And that's when it's even more important to push on and keep trying to find even the tiniest shred of something good. Now remember, navigating childlessness and finding gratitude isn't something you have to do alone. So consider looking for support, coaching or therapy, support groups, connecting with others who understand your experience can be especially helpful with healing. And sometimes you also get some ideas for extra good snacks. You can see where my mind goes, always to food. And my free support group is available, and there are others as well. There are online communities, forums, and carefully curated social media groups. If you curate them, you know which social media groups you are going to feel comfortable with without constant reminders of the mommy moments. But look for those, because those can provide a sense of belonging. And remember, almost everyone, not everybody, but almost everyone loves pet videos. If that includes you, find a community with lots of videos to watch and share and find something to chuckle at. And other people in that group that you have in common, things in common with. And that is, maybe you have your own pet and you want to share your videos. Grappling to find gratitude when your nest will never be filled is an ongoing process. And there will be days filled with laughter as well as tears, often at the same time. I mean, have you ever laughed so hard that you cried and then you cry some more? And now you've gone from that laughter to not just laughter tears, but this then can evoke other emotions that bring up those sad tears. But it's an incredible release. So just know that it's normal to have days of struggle and grief, and embrace them. Don't push them away. By actively seeking moments of gratitude and redefining what a fulfilling life means to us, we can find joy and purpose in our childless, not by choice journey. It's not a perfect substitute for the loss of motherhood. In fact, it's not a substitute at all. It's you moving on with your pain and finding fulfillment in life. Remember, your worth is not defined by your ability to have children. You are valuable, you are worthy of love, and you are capable of living a meaningful life. All right, well, thank you for tuning in to today's episode, and I will be back with you next week. I appreciate you listening. I hope this episode was helpful to you. If you liked what you heard, schedule a free discovery call with me to see how I can help you to feel worthy and live a fulfilling life. To schedule, click on the link in the episode notes, or you can find it on my website at pathonward.com. You can also see more from me on Instagram at Childless Path Onward and Facebook and YouTube at Path Onward. Until next week, thanks again for listening.